What's something that you have achieved that you thought would feel really nice, but it didn't end up feeling as nice as you thought it would? So, what do people assume about you that is completely not true?
A lady comes and tells me, why are you afraid? And she tells me, your fingers, someone could see you doing your fingers like this. Exactly. So those are some bit of scenarios, and even the worst scenario that I've had was last year during the public speaking competitions. I don't know. I think it's grace that I really moved on to the next level, because at that particular point, I was fully prepared. But then I stood up in front of this small group of people, and my mouth went dry. My eyes sprinted from one corner to another. I couldn't make eye contact, apart from my hairline, I think.
Oh my God, not the hairline. Not the hairline.
You see, though you've repeated it.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to Woman Enough podcast. This is episode 11. And may I say episode 1 of us having a guest on our podcast. Today, I have Mark Okeri with me. Mark is a 21-year-old student at the Technical University of Kenya. He's pursuing a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. Mark is also a founder of an organization known as Lead as Leaders, which focuses on offering leadership training and mentorship for young people who are aiming at becoming leaders. He has also participated in so many leadership and public speaking platforms and forums, and he has gathered so many accolades and rewards, one of them being the Kenyan Youth Ambassador for World Leaders Consortium. He is also a passionate mentorship enthusiast, people from underprivileged backgrounds, students, just giving back to society, I can say a lot about Mark. He's just 21, but he's doing too much. And apart from that, he also is a fan of swimming, chess, and golf. Welcome, Mark, to Woman Enough.
Thank you, Zarila. Thank you for the introduction as well.
Okay. So for this first segment of the podcast, we are going to do some icebreakers. Please be honest with me, okay? Please don't lie to me on this podcast.
I'll try.
Okay, so my first question. What is something you used to judge people for, but now you completely understand them for doing it?
Wow. One thing, pardon the question?
What is one thing that you used to judge people so much for, but now you completely understand why they do it?
And my honest answer.
Yeah.
I think quite often growing up, let's say between when I was in high school and now, I think I used to judge people a lot inwardly, based on these people drink a lot.
Oh, I see.
A lot. Drink a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot. But then,
no, but like, what do you mean by a lot? You know,
like daily, on a daily basis. Yeah. I think I always see like daily consumption it's just not good. But now I totally get it.
I know. I know. I also do feel you. Like, I also feel the same. Like, before I became an adult, I used to also judge people. Like, why are you drinking every day? But yeah. Now we understand. So what's a compliment that would actually hurt your feelings?
A compliment that will...
Yeah.
Okay. a compliment that will actually hurt my feelings. I'm trying to see. I've been given quite a lot of compliments. Now, one that will actually hurt my feelings is, "You've tried, but not so
Oh,
much."
I know that
It's
word.
like it's like you're there. Like you've done good, but not your best. I
Yeah.
think that will really take a really mental toll on me.
Yeah, and I know that hurts, especially when you think you've done your best, and then
Exactly,
somebody is
exactly.
like, "Majaribu,
Yeah,
simbaya."
because like you can imagine a lot of work maybe you've put in to maybe
Yeah,
see something through, but then someone comes in and is like, "Badu."
yeah, I totally get that. And in the same breath, yeah, what's something that you have achieved that you thought would feel really nice, but it didn't end up feeling as nice as you thought it would?
One achievement, I think I will say finishing campus. Finishing campus, I always took it as a really big milestone, but then you end up at you finish your last paper and you wake up the following day and
Life is just the
life is just
same.
moving on, because
Yeah,
I always look at it this way. For example, we always put too much pressure on birthdays,
yeah,
and then once you go to sleep the following morning, life still moves on. You still have to pay rent.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything remains exactly the same. If you owed
Exactly.
somebody money, you still owe them money.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change.
Yeah. But as someone who is like looking forward to actually finishing campus, I still like feel that anxiety. Like I still am no, regardless of how many people say that it remains the same, but I don't know. I
No, I
mean, the
think
excitement is still there.
for me, once I finished, I felt that kind of relief. I felt relieved because now I'm done with campus, and now I can be able to focus on other stuff. But now it was like a high peak. You're almost finishing. Then once you finish, you're like,
Ooh, back to zero. And then now
yeah.
you're thinking, I'm an adult who has bills and no school.
Exactly. Now the title changes from student to unemployed.
Yeah, true, true. So this takes me to my next question. Yeah. So, what is something that people normally do that is considered normal but makes you irrationally so angry?
That people do that they
Is
take it as
considered
normal.
normal.
That
Yeah.
is considered normal. That requires much thought.
Does it though?
It does. One thing that people really take, let me say, let me internalize it as one thing people have really kind of put it into kind of a normalcy is overjudging others. I mean, one person will tend to judge a lot, but then even mentally, you'll judge someone quite a lot, but then you fail to see your own discrepancies. Yeah, you fail to see your own faults, your own flaws. So I think people have really taken, especially with this current age of social media. One thing will really trend a lot, and people will have so much judgment, a lot of comments about it. But then at the end of the day, you fail to see that maybe you are in the same spot as they are. It's just that for them, it's in a spotlight. Yours isn't. Yeah,
Yeah, I honestly also fail to understand why somebody has so much opinion over the life
exactly,
of somebody they
exactly.
don't know at all. Yeah, it's an ick for sure. It's an ick.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I always try to keep in mind is it's really important for me to mind my business, and for me to also mind my business means unless someone really wants, or rather someone has entrusted me to mind their business, then at that particular point, I'd be fully invested.
You're
But-
not about giving unsolicited advice and
Nah,
opinions.
nah.
That's good. That's really good. I wish most people moved through life like that. Like
sure,
there's
yeah.
so much opinions out here. There's so much think pieces that we really don't need. You know.
Exactly.
So our icebreaker is like almost coming to an end. So this is like the second last question.
Okay.
And I begin it with be honest. Okay.
Honesty.
So be honest.
Let me first of all save some water.
So what is something you do now that your 8-year-old self will be so embarrassed that you actually do?
8 years old. Where was I at 8 years old? I think I was in class 4, class 3. Ours was standard 4, 3,
8. Yeah, maybe.
8, maybe. Yeah. That they will be so embarrassed.
Yeah. You know, I'm also trying to think of answers to my own questions, and I'm like, damn,
I was
I
like-
wouldn't know that either.
Okay, let me just spiral. Let me just party.
So
No,
yeah,
no, I honestly, like, when I was 8 years old, I think at that particular point, there was so much hype around DSTV and the usual kids shows. Like, I think, if I remember correctly, there was like things like Big Time Rush and the likes. So they kind of put a mental image in my mind of how growing up would look like. You have babes everywhere. But then you finish at this particular point in time. I mean, a lot has happened, and I really don't think 8-year-old Mark will be really excited to see this guy partying quite a lot.
he'd be like, no, this is not what we wanted.
He'll be like, nigga, stop.
But I feel like that is all part of evolution.
Exactly,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
always that one thing that you always knew you will never become, and then you're like, damn, I'm actually that person. You know. But there is also so much. I know that there's also so much that the 8-year-old you will be so proud
True.
to see you doing today. My last question, yeah. So, what's something you're proud of that most people do not give you credit for, or you don't get to talk about enough?
One thing, I think I think it's a reason why I tend to keep it on the down low, so that I really don't get that bit of credit. I think being independent at a very young age, I really don't. I think not many people tend to find the weight behind it. Even in times of really harsh economic times, being on your own, standing independent, paying your bills. And we have people out here and they are 21, 22, 23. And for them, they will always showing off, this is what I've achieved, nini. But then for me, there's a lot that I've gone through to be able to be independent at this point. That's why I always don't like telling people like I'm like independent and stuff. I will always be. My mom is calling me, by the way. So, exactly.
So every time you said your mom is calling you, you were lying, huh?
No, for a fact, in some instances, it was true. I'd be like, my mom is calling me, but now, but yeah, I think being independent at a very young age, it has really built a lot of resilience mentally, a lot of endurance as well. So it's something that I wish people to just come and like tell me it's going to be okay. Come and give me a hug. But yeah, that's something I'm really proud of.
Okay, so I might not give you a hug, but like
You
I
get
just
it.
want you to know, like I personally, like I'm so proud of you,
Thank
and
you.
I know everybody watching would be because you've achieved so much. Honestly, like a lot, and there's a lot that I haven't included in the bio, including the fact that you dance. You dance, yeah, and I've seen you modeling too. Like you have done a lot, and sometimes you tend maybe to downplay them, and you've told us why. But yeah, you're
And
seen,
maybe
you're
if I
seen.
can just say something about the dancing, I think it's something that it's a mental image that got into my mind when someone told me depression doesn't hit a moving object.
Oh, okay, that's new.
Depression
That's
can only
good.
hit you like when you're idle. You ever seen like you might have a lot going on, a lot really pushed you to the wall, but then if you act on it, it kind of subsides and it kind of like lightens your mood. So depression doesn't hit a moving object. So just dance.
Oh, so that's more like alchemy for you. It's like
Exactly.
you're using that as something to turn your emotions into something useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is good, which is like also very important for us to talk about, especially in the conversation that we're having tonight. It's like the modern man, we're trying to understand who is this modern young man? Like, what is it all about? There's a lot of back and forth online, and there's a lot of people saying this is who a man is, this is who a woman is, but I feel like we are not having conversations that are as nuanced as we're supposed to be, and that is why we are here to have a nuanced conversation together to try and understand where maybe where you guys are coming from.
For sure.
So would you consider yourself self-aware?
Partially.
Partially.
Because I think being self-aware entails being literate, having knowledge about whatever is happening around you and whatever is happening within you. So I wouldn't say like I'm fully aware of whatever is happening outside and whatever is happening inside, but I'm somewhere in between. But for me, it always calls for constant constant getting to know about whatever is happening inside, and also now getting to know whatever is happening inside and will now entail things like inflection, self-reflection as well, and the like. So halfway.
Yeah, so though you've been doing the work though, like
Exactly.
you've been
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
the
yeah,
work. Yeah, and I only say like same, I'm also in the process of like doing the work. I would also say I am partially self-aware. Maybe because I don't want to brag and say that I am self-aware. but yeah, it's a journey though. We
journey,
never
exactly.
get there.
It's a journey.
It's a whole journey. Like you reach a new milestone, and the next thing you know, you have something else to be aware about. The next
Exactly,
time you know, you
yeah.
have something else to explore. And it's good that I am seeing like so many people are on this journey, and we're all trying to figure out ourselves and what is going on within ourselves.
Maybe let me ask. When in terms of not being self-aware, what do you think of people who say they are self-aware and they put it out in the spotlight? Do you think self-awareness is something that is supposed to be shown off, or is it something that's supposed to be like it's just you?
No, honestly, because this is one of those confusing conversations. Because I feel like it's something you should be proud of. Like it's something I should be able to say. Because I've done the work for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
But because I feel like with the nature of how it is, it's actually a journey. You can't say that I am self-aware and this is it. There's no other thing that is there for me to know. You will never be fully self-aware, and that is why it may come off as a little bit cocky for you to say I am self-aware.
You stand in front of a camera and you're like, it's been a journey.
Yeah, it's like you're not there yet, and you will never be there.
Yeah,
So
true,
I feel
true.
like, yeah, we can all say we are partially self-aware, but we are self-aware. I feel like that is a little bit of a stretch, kidogo. Yeah.
But then Now, I think that journey kind of ends when we are growing old, because we have experienced, so by then we would have experienced so much. Even our grandparents, our great grandparents, they have experienced so much that our parents are actually on that journey of being self-aware, while for them, the grandparents, I think they've experienced so much, and whatever, that's why they will always give that bit of wisdom, because they have endured all that.
Yeah. But I also feel like self-awareness will not come with age automatically. Yeah, I feel like if you didn't consciously make effort to become self-aware, even if you're old, you might be an old person who is not self-aware at all. And I'm sure we have very many of those out here still. Um, so what do people assume about you that is completely not true? I'm waiting for this one because I also have an assumption.
What's your assumption?
No, you have to tell me.
No, what's the assumption? So that I can tell you if it's true or false, then I can say mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my assumption is, I usually see you as this type of person who is like too serious. I don't know, but I've also like gotten to see a side of you that is not that serious, but still, like, I don't think I can wipe off the idea of the Mark who is too serious. Yeah. So is it that?
No.
Okay.
No. I think the biggest assumption people always have about me is that Mark is really confident.
I also think that too.
Like,
so that's
No.
the assumption.
I can say I am confident, but not to the extent in which most people think that bit of confidence goes. That's why I personally, I would always do a kind of exercises to just try and be able to boost now my confidence, my own confidence, without now thinking about what someone else is thinking about it. So people will always think, hey, this guy is confident in nini. I mean, something that I've always learned is a lot of confidence comes about with a lot of exposure. I haven't gotten that much exposure, but it's something that I'm even in the process of ensuring that I get that bit of exposure to now match the confidence. Yeah, but all in all, Mark is confident.
But yeah, I feel like if people say you're confident, I mean, what else do you want? You
Exactly,
know.
yeah.
But I also feel like you are actually confident, considering like you've done all these things and the fact that you're actually a public speaker. It's so ironical for a public speaker to tell us that they are not confident.
I can give you a number of scenarios where I've held a mic and people will come and tell me your hand was shaking. Quite recently, I did a modeling contest. Now, my confidence boosted when I was in between modeling. So the first time I was walking down stage, I felt anxious, but I didn't know my body was telling it off.
Oh.
So a lady comes and tells me, why are you afraid? And she tells me, your fingers, someone could see you doing your fingers like this. Exactly. So those are some bit of scenarios, and even the worst scenario that I've had was last year during the public speaking competitions. I don't know. I think it's grace that I really moved on to the next level, because at that particular point, I was fully prepared. But then I stood up in front of this small group of people and my mouth went dry. My eyes sprinted from one corner to another. I couldn't make eye contact. And my mind was like, no, this is where, don't look at their eyes, look at their foreheads. It was bad. So after that, I just went and slept.
So did you do the speech?
I did the speech.
And what was the feedback from the audience?
The feedback was, you really try to hide it.
Yeah, but they could see.
That was the feedback. You really tried to hide it. That's what I was told. So, but where I was standing, I felt all I was seeing was darkness, man.
No, but I'd really want to understand, like, what scares you, because you've done this so many times. You've stood like in front of a stage and spoken to people so many times. So how is it that every other time you have some fear? Like, what is the fear about?
The competition we had last year, it was a public speaking competition. So I've never done public speaking as a sport. I felt it was a sport because you're competing against different people. So doing it as a sport is quite different from doing it out of the norm that you're used to. I mean, I will be told, you maybe you're going to say something. I will go and do it. But now doing it as a sport, knowing there is someone who might be actually better than me, and I have to match their potential and beat that potential, was what really it really spooked me.
So now we see it was because you thought there would be somebody better than you, and you felt like you needed to.
Exactly.
I think we all find ourselves in situations like that. And I feel like it's how you choose to go around the situation that actually tells the type of person that you are.
Yeah.
And the fact that you chose to like push the fear behind, and continue with the speech regardless of how you are feeling inside, that tells us that you're actually a confident person. So if that's not what confidence is, then I don't know what it is. So, so at 21, what insecurity are you still dealing with? That is, if you're comfortable telling us.
Insecurity. Have you ever heard of a word that says anti-intellectualism?
Yeah.
That I think we have gone so much around being in a space and you feel not intellectual enough, and then just hear people speaking of different years. I mean, I remember the first time I had someone talk of something like, is it Machiavelli, something like that, and I'm like, wait,
who is that?
so I think that's why as we were starting, I said I really try as much as possible to get as much knowledge as possible based on what is happening outside and what is happening inside, so that even in a scenario where a certain topic comes up, I can be able to have an opinion based on what I know, not because of what I've had. And apart from my hairline, I think.
Oh my God, not the hairline. Not the hairline.
Is it the way you've repeated it?
No, because I don't know. I mean, it's true though, but I hope no. No. Imagine, Mark, you're gonna bald very early, but it's okay. I mean, it's okay. There's a lot of ways to deal with that at this point.
Delete that footage.
No. Anyway, what would you consider your biggest green flag?
Loving.
I don't understand.
Romantically.
Oh.
I think. I have so many opinions on this.
No, you gotta pick one. Like, it's like your biggest red flag. Right, green one. Like your biggest.
My biggest green flag.
Yeah.
It's caring too much. I mean, there's this video where I saw this guy was talking about people you need to be kind, They need to be giving and the likes. Then someone comes and knocks on their window of their car, and they're like, "Bro, me jam." And the guy is like, inside the 50 bob, "Bro, me jam." Kako yako. And then he goes about to like,
And he goes back to tell us to be kind.
be kind. So I think from my end, it always I really struggle behind telling someone like Sina, or at the moment I'm not even financially, especially financially. I think I think God's grace has really been good enough that people think this guy's living well. Hey, we're trying. Yakubu manage.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
I remember.
Like,
I remember. There's this one time I really clad well. Hey, niliva vizuri. Then jioni, this guy comes and tells me, "Hey, CEO, Prezo, I like sinjenge 3K." Like,
And you're like, I've not seen 3K in a whole 2 weeks.
But we're getting there.
Yeah.
Continue calling me Prezo. We are getting
Manifesting.
there. We're getting there.
Yeah. I feel like, speaking it to existence,
Yeah.
right? I feel like that's also something that's very weird, because people, like, they will see you are a presentable person and they'll assume you have money automatically.
Or
But
not necessarily you have money, but you're living.
but you're
well.
living, yeah. But sometimes it's like, no, I'm actually going through it, guys. Yeah, but they, at the end of the day, even perception is good, So, what will you do if, okay, in three words that speak to you as a person, how would you describe modern masculinity?
Modern masculinity. In 3 words. Modern masculinity is adapting. Adapting now goes on to evolving. So adapting, understanding, and growth. Because I think we really need to see and really talk about the traditional expectations that people had about men and the modern realities. Those are 2 different things. Because based on traditional expectations, a man will be a provider. A man would you need to handle it as a man because you are a man.
Yeah.
Just by the mere fact you are born a man,
Yeah.
you are doomed to handle it.
Sets you up for that.
Yeah. But modern reality, I think we all of us are in times where we need each other. We need a community. So handling it alone as a man, that's not a modern reality. The modern reality is that for a man, you need to find your community, find your space, and find a space that is out to bring out that growth, help in ensuring that whatever comes your way, you can now be able to speak it out. Now you are adapting to the traditional expectations that a man needs to seclude himself to a certain point where you can't talk about whatever is happening within you. So you adapt to the modern reality that you can be able to speak it out. And a community, or rather a space where you can be able to grow. We have really been, we have had different scenarios where people have grown, and it's something that I always like about myself is you really can't tell me not to not watch cartoons. You really can't tell me not to relive my childhood experiences, the positive ones, that is. because I really enjoyed watching animations. I really, I think that's why till to date I really swim, because it's something that I really loved when I was a child. So you find that now you're growing up, the more responsibilities you're piling up, the more that kind of childhood spark gets dimmed, and you end up forgetting what it felt like just to be happy.
Yeah, I actually feel like the spark of a growing boy is usually so soon,
It's
like
mad.
so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's usually put off very soon when they're really young.
And I think it's always in stages. If you think about it, it's always in stages, because think about it this way: you've grown in a household and you're happy. I mean, you can say you want to be a dancer, you want to be you want to create your own band. I remember there was even one time I told my friend, let's do a band, just because we liked watching Kina One Direction and the likes. But then at that particular point, you are really not aware of the hardships of life. At times I do skating sessions, and one thing that I've realized is when children are skating with you, for them they'll fall and they really won't care. They'll fall, they'll get back up, and they'll continue having fun. But if you tell a grown man to put on those skates, even convincing them to put on those skates,
Yeah.
it's tough, because they know they don't have the capacity to
Yeah,
make
there's
to
a
skate.
possibility of falling.
And when they fall, people will be like,
A grown man falling? Yeah, I know.
so now it's exactly the same way. You've grown up, your world is full of endless possibilities. But then now you're growing up, and then you're like, this world is full of infinite impossibilities. Hey.
As much as there's infinite possibilities, there's also an equal amount of impossibilities, which I understand. And I remember I was talking to my friend, and she was telling me how she feels like there's a lot of noise, like especially online, surrounding these conversations. Like there's a lot of podcasts, red pill content, the manosphere, telling men this is who you're supposed to be, this is what you're supposed to do, this is who you're supposed to be as a man. What is your opinion on this? Do you feel like young boys should be taking advice from men on podcasts on how to become men?
Wow. Okay. It's good to listen.
True.
It's good to listen.
Yeah.
When you start there. But it also calls for, what is it you want as a man? If you're a man, if growing up, and for example, let me use myself as an example. You remember the time you asked me if I would like to be near your podcast, and I told you, I don't know if I will be able to be woman enough.
Yeah.
But then, if say maybe I would want to have a family in the future, one thing that I will always do is be in a circle of men whose marriages or whose families they're happy, because that way you'll be able to learn that for you to keep your children happy, this is what you're supposed to do. You need to be there for them. You need to make time. For you to keep your partner happy, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. That way now, because I think not listening to podcasts about in all this noise, people are giving their opinions, but then they really can't hear yours. They really can't hear whatever you yourself you have to say. That's why I mean, most times I will always advocate for just find a man who you feel is in line with whatever you want, because at that particular point in our one-on-one conversation, you can be able to share your thoughts, and they'll be like, okay. And if they have a different opinion, you can be able to ask why. You can be able to ask what about if I do this or that? I think growing up for men in even this particular age, let me say we are growing up in situations whereby, personally, I really like the father mother in one household and children. But now you have a mother and the child, and the father is away. You have separated families everywhere, so you kind of have a distorted kind of view of even what a family looks like, a good, healthy family looks like. So, to answer your question, it's good to listen, but also understand what you would want as a man. If you would want wealth as a man, go out to someone who has built that wealth and talk to them and share your views, share your opinions. That way now you can be able to learn. As much as this podcast, they say this and that, one or two points that are short in those podcasts, they might hit home, but I don't think that is enough.
Yeah, there's also a lot of nonsense in the same.
Exactly. Yeah. Stay guided.
Stay guided. I agree. So, like, do you also agree that parents need to step it up when it comes to raising the boy child at this point? Because I feel like as a society, we have empowered the lady for sure. And we are in an age where there are very many empowered women, like most there has been in the history of civilization. And this means that there's a reversal in what worked for our fathers and grandfathers and mothers and grandmas. It's totally different. It's a new age. And I feel like in the transition, we forgot to transition the boy, we forgot to teach, to empower them to along, we forgot
or rather, the men were empowered so much that the imbalance now went down to empower the lady, because the boy has been empowered enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true for sure. The boy had been empowered for the longest time by himself. That's true. But if you look at the current statistics, girls are doing way better in school than boys. Men tend to report the highest cases of suicides. They tend to report like the highest cases of being unable to talk to somebody when they're going through something. But you see, these are like very vital statistics that you can see at a very huge difference. So I feel like the girl child is kind of here and the boy child is here. And there is some kind of denial for the boy child because they don't want to accept that they've been left behind. But as a society, we can all see that this current young man is not well equipped to deal with even the current young woman. It's like they're living in totally different realities. And I feel like we needed to like have a change in the way parents are raising their boys, and teach them how to be empathetic towards themselves, teach them how to express, just like you were saying, how to express their emotions and to not like dim their spark every single time, like allow the boys to live, allow them to develop some whimsy, allow them to develop some whimsy, allow them to like be something, no matter what it is. And I always say, like, I was saying like in the morning, and when I tell somebody that I don't want to be a parent and they're like, no, you're selfish, and they assume that I'm only doing it because of my relations or whatever, but it's more like, am I ready to deal with a child who will probably have very different ideologies from me? Because again, you will have a child who will probably think that being a DJ is cool, and you think it's a waste of time as a parent, and so you stop this child from following that dream, and from then on you have actually set them up for failure, because everything that they've always wanted in their lives, you've told them as a man that is not something you should be chasing, So I feel like, what do you think?
there's some things we always tend to do that are funny, and then your friend, even as a man, and then you're like, your friend is like, sauna do. Oh, that's sauna do. So being told, ukishaambiwa hivyo,
You
now
just recoil.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then you're like, next time I won't do that.
Yeah.
But if it made you happy, what was the opinion in your business about it? So I think parenting really plays a big role, and that's why I was saying, you find someone, just find someone. Doesn't even, if you can't find a man, find a lady who maybe you can be able to have a chat, and a lady who is not biased at all, because you'll have someone who is biased and then they tell you, hey, men are dogs. So now you're like, so what do I do at that particular point? So true to what I said, that we are growing up or rather children are growing up in an age whereby there are different parents are living in different households. So even getting to understand what a healthy relationship looks like becomes a challenge. Let me take it back to our grandparents. I always tend to ask myself why my grandmother and my grandfather, they have lived for so long together, that they have lived together for like 50, 30, 40 years. And right now, for families to go more than, say, even 6 years is a challenge. I think now there's something you've mentioned about that the lady, the girl child has been empowered, is now being empowered so much, leaving behind the boy child. The contrast is the same, kitambo, in the olden days, because you'll find that now that the boy child has been told, you have an opportunity to go to school. And there's something that I even read online, that the Gen Zs are actually like delaying marriages. Why do you think so? Because our grandparents, you'll find that our grandmothers, they got married at a very young age, 22.
16.
Even as young as 16.
Yeah.
So you'll find that they wouldn't have that particular bit of say, because maybe the man is the one who has gone out to get the providence the family needs.
Yeah.
The man is the one who has gone to school, to even campus as well. The lady has not. So the same is happening today, whereby now the man feels like, can I really compete with, or rather, can I match up with this lady who even has a PhD, have a degree, I'm only a degree holder. And there's something that even I observed, I think that was last week, where I heard a story of a lady whose business is really booming, just around my home place. And then this gentleman comes and tells me, now you'll find such a lady is impossible to keep in the house.
For sure.
And I'm like, why? So why don't you match up?
Plus, why do you want to keep somebody in the house in the first place?
Exactly. So why not match up? I mean, do better.
Yeah, and you see, I do love talking to people who like are open-minded like this, because you tend, like, you're understanding that there's actually a shift.
Yeah.
There is people who want things to remain the way they used to be, and I feel like that can't just be like it's just not possible. Because as you've mentioned, back then, imagine somebody who got married at 16. Me at 16, what did I know? Nothing.
Exactly.
And being married and all you do every day is wash dishes, play with kids, and like it deteriorates your mind to being just that, you know. And so, of course, those marriages could have survived because, again, that lady, where is she going? But right now, if somebody has a booming business and they can be able to take care of themselves, why do you think they would want to sit down and take orders from you?
Yeah.
Obviously, they wouldn't. So, yeah, I also like, I'm a fan of Nietzsche. You've checked, yeah. So he did like predict that at some point in the future something like this was going to happen. There was going to be a crisis because he himself used to say that marriage is as is like a social construct, which is true, but he said that love is real for sure, and men and women do have this undeniable attraction for each other, and we all know that. But for us to get together and build something, he did mention that a man has to come into the table and let go of control. Like, don't come in wanting to control me or whatever this becomes. You just come in as not a fraction, as a complementary angle. You see the way we used to be told 90 degrees is the complementary angle, whatever that was, but something like that. The same way I should let go of my resentment, because of course I do harbor some resentment towards the male species, because I know the history of women, domestication, things like that. Like, of course, there is some resentment as a woman. And for me and some man to get together, like, I have to come in and let go of that resentment altogether. And I feel like as a society, that is where we are going wrong, because we are having the wrong discussions.
But you find, now you see, even in that particular, where in terms of even the social construct, I always tend to look at a very positive angle, because a boy and a girl can grow up as friends. So, and at no particular point would they have this particular like bit of control. There's no point where the girl or the boy will have a certain control over something they will always share. That is when they're children. Now, growing up and hearing all this noise about, as a man, as a lady, so you find that now the aspect of control comes in, where both sides really want to control each other. But then, when you were kids, you were friends. There was not that particular bit of control. So now letting go of that bit of control, and even teaching our children, you're talking about parenting, teaching our children that you can be able to live with your brother and your sister without any of you dominating each other. And it also calls for, understanding that bit, that particular point, you can now be able to get, even in relationships, you won't feel that you're competing with your partner, but rather you will feel like your friend is doing better than you. And if your friend is doing better than you, you can go and ask them, what is it that you're doing, so that I can be able to match up to you.
Yeah.
So I think we really make things complicated, because me, especially when I'm doom scrolling and then I see as a man.
I know. I also don't like those conversations, because I feel like we're really having the wrong conversations, because it is not a one size fits all thing. It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
So you can't come and tell me, like, as a woman, you're supposed to ask for this on the first date. As a man, you're supposed to do this. Like, come on. Because you don't even know how me and the guy met, our dynamics. So I feel like all those, as a woman, as a man, things, they're not doing society a service. But let me ask you this, yeah? So if we stripped like status, money, and success and wealth, what qualities do you think make somebody a good man?
What qualities will make a good man? I think understanding that understanding that a man ought to be loving, and um, for believers, I think we are always told that God is a loving God. So I think starting from that particular point of a man getting to learn about how to love, how to care, and being empathetic. I mean, understanding one's emotion. In general, just being soft.
A soft man.
Because the traditional man was thought to be very hard in terms of feelings, emotion wise, to be very hard, to be very secluded. So the modern reality is, I think men who are really soft, but I'm not also talking about soft like you can be beaten up. No. I mean soft in terms of you can be able to take care of the people around you well enough. Then you stand at a better position to be a good man.
So we can actually conclude that healthy masculinity looks like a man who can express themselves and who can be able to understand and take into account what the people around them are feeling or going through. Yeah, I also agree with that. I feel like that is the epitome of what a good man is, to be honest. And that is the end of our discussion. I'm so glad that I had you here.
Thank you.
It's been so fun. And yeah, it was such a nice discussion.
Thank you.
And before I let you go, we're going to do one last thing. So we're going to play a game.
Okay.
And it's a simple game. I'm going to ask you some questions and you're going to tell me whether you think it's a red flag or a green flag. So are you ready?
I am.
Okay. So a man who cries in front of his girlfriend, is that a red flag or a green flag?
A man who cries in front of his girlfriend. Green.
I'd also say green. I would love a man to cry in front of me. Damn.
No, why are you smiling like that? You're smiling like I would like to see my man cry in front of me so that I know how he looks.
No, it's not even that. I feel like it would make me so happy, like to see somebody express themselves like that. And a woman paying for the first date, is that a red flag or a green one?
Green. Go for green.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I'm torn between red and green, but I'd say green. Like it's okay. Like if you have the money, you can pay for the date for sure.
If I go on a date, maybe I've proposed the date and it goes beyond my budget.
But why are you taking me on a date that's beyond your budget? So
No, like it's out of experience. So no. I think most cases I've no. Let me not say that.
no, I feel like if
No. What
I
do
were
you think? Will it be red or green?
for me, I think it's a green flag, but I also think it's a red because it's the first date. You know, if it's like another date that you guys are actually together in a relationship, like how is it that you're trying to get to know me and then I should pay for the date? I don't know. I mean, just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know.
Who should pay the first date?
I feel like it's the guy. Or if I'm the one who invites you for the date, then
Exactly.
I should pay.
Now,
but if
put
you
it that way,
invite me, you should pay.
If I invite you, that's a red flag. If you pay.
Yeah. But if I invite you, then if I pay, that's a green flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if your partner checks your phone. I-
Wow, that's a red one.
no.
Now let me. I always put it this way. Don't poison yourself. You can't. You really can't poison yourself.
No, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. So, I used to be one of those people who used to say,
DCI.
says Yangal. No, I used to be like, I can't check his phone. Why would I check his phone? Like, I'm way past that. I'm too mature, you know. And then the day that the devil spoke to me and I decided to check,
DCI.
it was like, why didn't you do it sooner? But also, why did you even do it in the first place? Like, everything was okay until I checked that phone. So I don't know. Personally, I think it's a red flag if you keep checking my phone over and over again. But I feel like once in a while, if you guys are in a committed relationship, I feel like it's only fair to let them see so that they clear their doubts.
Okay, I'm learning.
A man who lives with his parents at 28.
Red. A big red, man.
Why though? What if like his parents have the room for him to live and he actually bro, I almost dated a guy who lives with his parents at 27.
That's a red.
Peep how I said almost, because I also think it's a red flag. And I don't know though, but it's a red for
Come
me
out
too.
and pay rent.
Yeah, because at 28, then a woman who earns more than her partner.
That's a green for me.
I also think it's a green flag. If I earned more than my man,
That's a green. It's a green, but I'll match up. I'll make sure I match up.
no, because if I earned more than my man, I feel like, what would I do though? I don't know. Maybe I'd take him out a lot.
I think I'd say, if she earns more than me, I get the check and they're like, hey, you're earning more than me. It will sting.
Why though?
It will sting.
Why?
But then, that's what I'm saying. I'll make sure I catch up.
I mean, so it's a red flag for you.
It's a green.
It's a green.
Yes.
Okay. So then a guy has mostly female friends.
Has mostly
Female friends.
female friends. Huh. Hey. Hey, that's tough. That's I'm trying to see the pros and cons behind it. Hey,
No,
a guy
because
who has more female friends.
yeah, mostly like
mostly.
most of his friends are female friends.
That's a red.
True, that's a red flag. That's the reddest of flags, because I know as like I don't know. I just don't trust.
It's a matter,
Adults
it's a matter
like
of
that.
community. Like
No,
As
have
a-
male friends.
yeah,
Like you can have a few female
yeah,
friends.
you can have them, but
If that is mostly your circle, then something is wrong somewhere. Last question. A girl has a male best friend.
a girl has a male best friend. That's a green for me.
It's green.
Yeah, because I am someone's best friend. So
Why do I think it's a red flag though?
no, if I'm taking it as a green flag because I am in that shoe, but I also know there's some limits I can't cross. That's why it's a green for me.
I don't know. If I were a guy, I wouldn't date a girl who has a male best friend.
What will you tell them?
Who? The girl. So just tell them I'm not comfortable with you having a male best friend.
Oh, I thought you'll tell them something like
Like,
cut off that friend.
nah, I mean, if you want to cut them off, fine.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not going to like entertain that because I feel like, no, there's no way that dynamic. Why are you
In a
best
relationship,
friends?
that
I am
one-
supposed to be your best friend.
in a relationship, that's a red.
Yeah, that's a
Maybe
red flag.
if we are just friends and I'm like you get me as a best friend as a lady, nah, that's a green for me. And the best thing that can happen to you.
As a guy best friend, for sure. But now you imagine your girl is like having a guy best
That's
friend.
what I'm saying. In a relationship, that's a red.
Yeah, that's a red flag. Also, the other way around, if a guy has a female best friend, something is wrong somewhere. I feel like your partner
Like,
should be your best
you should
friend.
be like we are dating because we have so much in common. Like
Yeah, why do you need
bestie.
another best friend? Like, it should be me.
They should be second, even third,
Yeah,
or
maybe not
non-existent.
even there. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We have had so much fun. I can't wait to see you guys on the 12th stroke second episode with another guest. Thank you so much. Remember to share, subscribe, like, and leave a comment. See you next time. Bye.